Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Jamie Marsh, Tourism Marketing Coordinator for the city. I believe I've met all of you. We are going to be recording this today so we can put it on YouTube for anybody who wasn't able to make it today. But I am not going to talk very long. I'm going to let Sarah come up here in just a minute. This is Sarah Brock. She is the owner of Cowgirl Mercantile, and she's going to be talking to you today about social media. We were previously going to have Vanessa Burba from Fairfield in, but she had a last-minute emergency, so she's not going to be able to make it today. We're going to try and get her for the fall quarter, I believe that's quarter 4 meeting, so we're going to 3. So we're going to try and get her for quarter 3 because she does have quite a bit of valuable information for us. But thank you all for coming, and then I'll let Sarah take over and get us started. So.
And if we have questions, we're going to pass this mic around so that the questions can get recorded onto the video as well.
And we can clip this on you so that you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So it's just a little clip there.
Okay.
Perfect. And then I'm gonna
Okay. So I haven't done a public speaking thing in a real long time, but I talk a lot on lives and on social media. So if I start to ramble, just give me that like sideways glance, like, can you stop talking, please? Because I kind of tend to do that. I'm passing around kind of what a little tool and what we're going to be talking about today.
Do we have more?
Yeah, sorry. There's 3 more. Okay. Do you guys want one back there to see what we're talking about? Okay. All right. So, pull up my notes. I was expecting to go second. Sorry. All right. So I'm Sarah Brock. I am the owner of Cowgirl Mercantile on Commerce, and I also own Wildfire Creators, which is a social media company. Basically, the goal of my company in that aspect is to give businesses the tools to help themselves with their social media. It's not specifically a social media management company like us small business owners are used to. Like, here, go do my stuff for me. No, it's like, here, let me give you the tools so you know how to do it yourself, because that's too expensive. A lot of small business owners don't have the budget to be able to do that. What they really need is to be able to be themselves and to show the world who they are, because that's really what social media is all about when it comes to small businesses. So the goal for today is basically to give y'all the tools that, at least entry-level tools, to legitimately take control of your social media presence as a small business owner. I am a busy woman. I don't have time to come and sit and listen to someone talk and pitch me a sales idea of their services and how I can give them more money. I need someone that's actually going to teach me something that's going to be helpful. So that's what I'm going to be using this time for you guys today. So anyways, so one of the biggest mistakes that small business owners make when it comes to their social media presence is overthinking their content. A lot of times people are sitting back, rewriting their captions 20 times, or maybe not even writing them at all. They're sitting there, how do I word this? Oh, maybe I shouldn't use that word. Maybe I should use this word. And then 2 hours goes by, and maybe you've been spending all that time, or maybe you've been spending all that time on Canva trying to design the perfect graphic for your post, right? Like, I know I'm not the only one that has done that, okay? So that really is a huge bottleneck in your social media presence, because in the end, you do that a couple times, and then you're just like, what the heck am I doing? Like, I have all this other stuff I need to be doing to run my business. I do not have time for this. So you give up, right? You stop posting regularly, and it's just like you kind of hear social media and you're like, okay, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be doing that, but I got other stuff to do, right? So that's really the main thing that we're trying to like reel back and take control of that perfectionist part of us that wants to make everything perfect before you post it. If you've been on any of my social media stuff and you've seen my posts, I am constantly making mistakes. Like, it actually kind of annoys me. I wish I was a little more perfect, but I am not going to let myself step into that perfectionist thing. So if I have a typo in there, I'm like, oh well, at least it got done, and I catch it and we move on. We don't overthink, we just move on, right? So, because I'm not gonna spend 2 hours creating a post. We don't have time for that. Okay, so the other aspect is because we're always trying to be perfect, that's creating inconsistency, right? Because we're not posting hardly ever, like once a week at the most, right? Because each post takes 2 hours. So then inconsistency starts and people stop paying attention to your posts, or they're not seeing you at all because you're never posting. Once a week isn't showing up on anyone's feed. Like, let's be honest. And then your 2 hours of work that you spent on that post really was a waste, right? Because you're being inconsistent, which, let's be fair, it's not because you're not trying, it's because we're putting almost too much effort into every post, right? So that's where this calendar that I handed you comes in. Now you can use this or you can use something else. It doesn't have, like, this isn't like the make or break thing, but it gives you kind of a basic outline of a consistent pattern that you can post every day. So basically, and I use this exact calendar in my business every single day. I go on and I look and see, okay, today is connect. And I'm going to explain what these terms mean here in a minute. So connect, that's the kind of content that I'm going to do that day. It takes the decision fatigue, the decision out of what you're posting. Because again, as a business owner, right, we have too many decisions to make. Decision fatigue is a real thing. This takes that out of the equation, right? Makes it easy. Like, holy crap, it's 3:00 in the afternoon and I haven't posted anything today. What am I going to post? Oh, I just look to my calendar and be like, oh, okay. And then I just brainstorm a couple ideas and just throw it out there. Or you can schedule your content out, whatever you like to do. I personally like to do it the day of because I like my customers to know, like in real time, feel like they're actively involved in my business. Okay, so going into the Connect posts. So some examples of Connect posts are behind the scenes, day in the life of things, community events, like if your business is involved in anything in the community, things that you're legitimately doing that day, you know, if you're stocking your shelves, you're opening boxes, maybe you're just helping customers, I mean, whatever, things like that. Packing orders. So for me, I have a boutique, right? So I am steaming clothes, putting things on racks, packing online orders, that kind of stuff, right? Giving your customer a feel for you and who you are and how you run your business. The next, so like day 2, would be building trust. And this is really, and one of the main things about all of these categories is, some of you may be thinking, but isn't social media, the point of social media is to sell my product or my service? Like, isn't that the point? I need more customers. I don't want my social media to be pretty. I need to make more money, right? But you're not going to make more money. You're not going to make any sales if you're not connecting with your customer. Because the point of social media is to connect with your customer. It's called social media, okay? It's meant to be social. So our next category, and the reason why I say that, is the next category is building trust. So in that category, you're going to focus on things like customer reviews, maybe question and answer things. If you're getting a lot of questions about a certain product, like multiple customers are coming in and asking, do you have this? Or how does this work? Question and answers. Or showing how a product works, like educational videos on how a product works. For like a boutique, it would be, how do you tie, like for mine, it's a Western store. How do you tie a wild rag? Because I want to sell wild rags, right? So then subconsciously, you're marketing to the people that are looking for wild rags because you're showing them all the wild rags, you're tying them, you're showing them how they can use them in their outfits, things like that. So same kind of aspect, you just have to be a little creative. Like, how are you using the auto parts, right? Like, sorry, that's probably a really bad example because I'm not an auto part person. You would know more about that, right? But like, I'm sure that there are things where, and you'll find this once you get started, that the customer's like, I don't even know how this is like gonna help with what I need, right? And so then you go in and you show them, right? Basically how you would show a customer if they were actually in your store, but you do it on social media, okay? And then brand story is pretty basic, right? Like most of us understand the story of our brand, but I mean, really when it comes to that, you can go even more into that outside of like the standard, this is why I opened my business. You can go into like milestones, struggles, wins, your growth journey. So like for our store, we started inside the Brass Bunny, and then we went into a trailer, and then we went into our own store, and like how that progressed is an example of something that you can do. Anyway, and then we get into the actual selling content. So you can see carousel would be like a picture, a photo carousel. And then when you see reels, that's a video. Is everybody familiar with a carousel and reel, like language? Yes. So one thing and as you get more in depth on building like your knowledge around your social media platform and things like that, you'll notice that like people talk about the algorithm and what's doing better on the algorithm and things like that, which is important, but when you start, you don't really want to focus too much on that. You just want to focus on the consistency and, like I said, follow this calendar and you can have a schedule. But reels do tend to, at least right now, are tending to perform better on social media platforms. So let's say, you're more comfortable on camera, you like to talk, like me, you might want to push more to the video side of things just because videos perform better. But if you're going into, which we'll go into a little bit, if you're going to be posting in to Facebook groups and things like that, like the curbside, pictures tend to perform better in Facebook groups. And so just understanding some of those things, and that's not really a concrete thing. It is constantly changing with social media changes and things like that. Okay. Any questions so far? Yeah.
You don't have to talk. Just near you.
I was just wondering, have you seen a difference in versus if you schedule out post or post day of, how it affects the algorithm, or do they both get the same amount of?
I have been told that there is no difference.
Okay.
I don't know if that is true because, like I said, I don't schedule my posts. My social media presence is very like, this is what's happening the day of. Like, I like to do that primarily because of the kind of business that I have. I never know what's going to sell out and what isn't, and I don't want to schedule posts out of products that have already sold.
Okay.
But yeah, to answer your question, I have been told there is no difference. I don't know if that's true.
We've seen, because we schedule out a lot of our posts just
Yeah.
to save time,
Right.
and we feel like when we actually post versus scheduling them out, we get more views and interactions that way. But I don't know if it's just the content we're posting that day or what it is.
Right. I have seen primarily that be talked about on TikTok versus like Facebook and like the Meta stuff. So,
I can add a little to that. Ultimately, it depends on engagement. Because if you're scheduling stuff out, you have to remember to go back and engage with it. Because if people are commenting on it and liking it and stuff, like if people are commenting on it and you're not commenting back, even like on a basic level, then that's gonna kill it in the algorithm. So schedule away, but don't forget that you're posting it at 9:30 in the morning, right? Like in the middle of your busy rush. So it does save time in some ways, but you also have to keep like that content calendar in mind. And sometimes it does have to do with the type of content, because what are you scheduling, right? Probably the more evergreen stuff that people aren't probably going to be responding to as much, as opposed to the live stuff that's mindful of your business, right? So that's mindful of what's in stock, what's hot right now, what's the current topic, right?
what's the weather like today?
Yeah, exactly. So people
Yeah.
are going to have more reaction and engagement then. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other
Any other
questions before I move on? No? Okay. So consistency, really, really important. The other aspect to that is, like we were kind of going into just now, is going into making sure that your content is relevant to your customer. So I saw a different social media company post this, and I thought that the line was perfect. They said, your customer, or nobody cares about your business until you make it about them. Nobody is going to care. So a lot of times, especially in the boutique world, I'm sure I'm mostly familiar with the boutique world and their social media, but I think I see this in a vast majority of social media posts when it comes to businesses, is when you're creating your posts and your captions, people often write like, oh, look, new arrivals. Oh, look, this is just in the store. Oh, look what I'm doing. When really the customer doesn't give two poops about you. They don't care about you. They don't know you. A lot of times they don't even know who you are, right? So they're coming across that your content, for whatever reason, right? Maybe it just so happened to be in their feed, maybe they saw somebody else like it, but in reality, they don't care until you make it about them. Okay, so what we really want to do is start to gear our focus towards the customer and what problem you're fixing of theirs. And so that obviously boils down to knowing your customer and who that person is, right? Because how else are you going to be able to fix their problem without knowing who they are? But when you're writing your captions, instead of saying things like, oh, look, new arrivals, these are really cute, they have pockets, you say things like, this beautiful dress is going to make you feel like the queen of the ball when you walk in, or you're going to get all the looks from all the girls when you come in with this on, or whatever it may be. I'm not the best at writing captions on the fly. That's a strong weakness of mine. But when you do that, you're not just gearing the captions, you're gearing the photos, the videos, every messaging aspect you want to gear towards the customer and how it's important for them. Because that's when they're going to care, is when you make it about them. Okay? Where was I going with that? Hold on, I got to look at my notes. So then that boils down to figuring out who your customer actually is. There are lots of things that you can find online to like question and answer prompts for you to be able to sit down and really boil down who your customer is. And that is a lot more than just their age, their gender. You need to know things like, what do they enjoy? What kind of things do they do outside of work? Do they have kids? How much money do they make? Where do they live? What kind of music do they listen to? Because when you're posting the content, like the connect content or the build trust content, like my boutique, for example, when I'm posting connect content, I'm not going to go post pictures of me or some awesome girl downtown Dallas walking around in her high heels. That doesn't make sense for my audience, right? Like, what cowgirl's going to give two poops about that? And sorry, I curse a lot, so I'm going to use that. But nobody,
Great job editing.
they're not going to care, right? So what I'm going to post is pictures of a horse out in the field or a video or a girl riding her horse. And if I had a horse, which I really want one of these days, it's going to happen. It's going to be me, right, when I get there. But that's the kind of content I'm going to post when I'm trying to connect with my customer, because they connect with that messaging, right? So that's why you need to know who your customer is, and obviously for a lot of other reasons, as far as what inventory you buy and all that stuff. And I don't need to tell you guys that stuff, but as far as social media goes, that's why that's important. Okay. All right. So I'm going to completely pivot, well, not completely pivot, but move a little bit into connecting with the community and why that matters for your business. So obviously, like we talked about a little bit, engaging in the comments and getting to know the people that you're trying to serve is really important, knowing who they are. But the other aspect, especially being in a small town, and a really big benefit of being in Gainesville, is you have the ability to connect with the small business owners, and people are really open to talking and getting to know each other and building those connections. The reason that's really important is because you have the ability to expand your audience. Okay, so not only is it important, like we love to meet people and make friends, right? Like on a personal basis, it's really nice to have friends that are business owners and understand you, because nobody else understands you, right? And business owners are kind of a special breed of weird. And so it's nice to get to know other business owners and be able to talk and stuff like that, obviously. But when it comes to your social media presence, it also helps create some legitimacy outside of just you saying you're awesome. And then other people start saying you're awesome, right? So if you start working with other business owners and collaborating, like the Cowgirl Mercantile and MGM just did a photo shoot together this weekend, okay? And I took my stuff, we went to their store, and we took pictures together. And we're gonna use that for content. So number one, it's awesome because now I got a bunch of pictures I can use for content, right? Number two, their audience is gonna see my products on them, which creates social proof. It builds trust, right? It shows people that, hey, maybe this store isn't so bad. Okay, maybe I could go in there too, right? But also it has a trickle-down effect for both parties, right? So my customers get to know their stuff, their customers get to know my stuff, and we grow together and build up our community, really. So that's something that when you get further down the line, I personally, if you're really, really new to social media and new to being consistent, you focus on this. And then slowly you start adding these things, do a little bit more video. Maybe talk to a business buddy and be like, hey, let's take a selfie together, and just slowly add things in as you feel more and more confident. Okay, so to close it off, basically, stop spending 2 hours on posts. Don't do that anymore. Don't do it to yourself, okay? If you have a hard time with captions, there are tools out there that can help you brainstorm captions, and you can edit it. If you want to use AI, you can. Don't copy and paste from AI. But it can help you brainstorm, okay? Make it your own. And just do it. Just post it. It's okay if it's not perfect. And yeah, if you need any help with social media stuff, I'm here. And my stuff is on the bottom if you need anything. So yeah. Any questions now? No? Okay. Thank you.
Microphone.
Ooh. I can't take that with me.
Thank you. Okay, that was awesome. Thank you so much. We're just going to hold it, I guess. Thank you so much for coming. Sarah, we're so excited to have, I'm sure they are all excited to not have me talk again for finally. So we're excited to have someone new talking, and especially about social media, because that is something that everyone is dealing with right now. And even though it was, we're talking a lot about business, it does trickle into, organization and how you connect with people and build trust with them as well. So we're really excited to have you and have you here talking to everybody. So I am going to go over just a couple of other things, and then I'll let you guys go. You guys have some handouts. I'm not sure if you were able to grab one, but if you didn't, please grab one on your way out. There is some information about Gainesville's Great American Birthday Bash. So Paulina and I are working really hard on a project that's out at the Gainesville Municipal Airport. That is going to be on the 3rd of July from 5 to 10 p.m. And we are going to have live music, fireworks show, vendors, art and quilt show. We're going to have a beer and wine garden. And so there's a lot of really cool things that are going to be happening out there. It's going to be kind of the first of its kind in Gainesville, so we're super excited about that. Tell your friends all about it. And then you also have a flyer for, it's volunteering, I believe. I printed that one. So the QR code on that will take you to a JOT form to fill out if you'd like to volunteer. There's a lot of different places that you can do that. We have a kids zone, we have parking, we have bag check. So lots of opportunities there for you to get involved with it. And then there's also a June events calendar. So right now it's a draft. It's not a final cut or anything. If you and your organization have an event that you want to have us consider to put on here, there is a QR code on there as well that you can scan and fill out the information. And even if we are not able to put it on our tourism event calendar, we do have a community events calendar that we can get that on for the city. So are there any questions before we go ahead? Yes, ma'am.
Hold up. Oh, for the video, just near you.
Okay. What type of vendors are you looking for the bash?
Yes, so any kind of vendor. So the Orchard, if you'd like to set up a booth, we'd love to have you. So we're looking for food vendors, craft vendors, kind of anything. We just are out of food truck spots at this point. So it's a 10 by 10 vendor booth, and it's $100. That goes to Cook County United Way.
And what is the time of the event?
It is 5 to 10 p.m.
And vendor setup's going to start at 2:30.
Yes.
And part of the volunteer opportunities is to help people get set up.
Yes.
So if you're coming with like your truck bed full of stuff that you need help unloading, we're recruiting. We've got a couple organizations that are part of Cook County United
Yes.
Way that have already said that they're going to be on scene to help people
Yes.
unload trucks, reload trucks.
And me and Paulina will be there with
Yes.
Parks and Rec too to
We're
help you as
rolling
well.
our sleeves up. We're going to be working the event.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
What do you need volunteers for?
Unloading, loading,
Oh.
Kid zone.
bag check.
Okay.
Supervising the kids zone to make sure that kids don't pummel each other in the bounce houses. ID checks at the Beer and Wine Garden. There's if you scan that code with your phone, the Jot form has the opportunities listed, and you can check which items.
Yeah, and you can check your preference. So obviously, if you're not super great with kids, we can put you somewhere else. Or if you don't want to check,
Have a teacher.
Yeah.
I've been a teacher for 30 years. Do not put me in the kids section.
yes, yeah. We're like, okay, you've done your time, you're fine. But yeah, so we're super excited about that. Any other questions? Okay. Well, if you guys have any other questions for Sarah, I'm sure she'd love to answer them. Her information is on that sheet for you guys. And as always, I'm available for anything that you need. So yeah, we are good to go. Thank you all for coming.